Hello, this is Concord TV's production of Community Conversations. Actually, this is our first show, and it is a podcast as well as a TV program. So we're going to be talking to the people in Concord and in the region who make these communities, our community, what it is, how exciting times that are happening in this area as the new Main Street redevelopment and so much more. So you're going to want to really listen to our podcast and or watch it on Channel 22 and on our website, yourconcordtv.org. Now, I'll give you that information later again at the end of this program. But our first guest, our very first show right here, I'm so excited to introduce you to someone who really has makes a great impact, not only in this community, in the state, in the region, but in the nation and beyond. And with that, I would like to introduce my new good friend, Ted Dooley, a past potentate of the Bektash Shriners. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing us to be on your show so we can garner a little publicity for our cause.
Well, listen, you do amazing work, and we're going to be talking about that, Ted. But first, I want to talk about the Shriners itself. And I want the public to hang on to the thought that we're going to be talking about this amazing Feztival of Trees that happens in Concord at the Bektash Shrine Temple every year on Pembroke Road, correct?
Yep.
Yes, and we'll give them all the details. But there's a history behind it, and there's a reason why you have this great event every year, and it really serves the public well. Let's start by saying, what exactly are the Shriners?
Well, the Shrine was started by a group of Masons back in the late 1800s. And the Masonic fraternity is a fraternal organization based on brotherly love, relief, and truth. And the Masonic fraternity goes back centuries. But there were a group of men in New York who decided they would like to have an organization composed of Masons, but just for fun. Masonic fraternity is a little more serious and a little more somber. And they decided they just want to have a fun organization and just have fun. And it was started by an actor and a doctor, who were apparently pretty wealthy guys. They did a lot of traveling. And either the actor or the doctor attended a state dinner in Washington that was put on by an Arab sheikh. And the whole dinner had an Arabic theme. It was very colorful, a lot of pageantry. And he thought, wow, what a great thing to use as our venue.
That was their inspiration.
Yeah,
right.
that inspired them to go with this theme. And at our peak, I think we had 1.5 million members.
Oh,
and so the dues money was flowing into the organization, and they just had, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars back in the day when $100,000 meant something.
Right.
And finally, in the early 1900s, and I don't know the date, polio was a very serious epidemic in the country. And a couple of guys decided, we have all this money, why are we not doing something constructive with it? So they decided to open a hospital. And they opened the first hospital in Shreveport, Louisiana, I believe in 1919 or in that vicinity. And then they decided, well, you can't take care of the whole country with one hospital, and it just blossomed from there.
So there are 22 hospitals
There are 22
now.
hospitals now throughout America. We're in Hawaii, which is America. We're in Canada, Panama, and Mexico.
Now that's interesting that now I understand more the connection between the Masons and the Shriners. So
Yeah.
the Shriners actually were looking for more of a social aspect.
They built themselves as the playground of Masonry because, again, they just wanted to have fun. But then when we started the hospitals, of course, now it's become more of a serious nature to support the hospitals.
Right.
So
Now these hospitals, and we think about now when we first sat down here early before we started the show, we were talking about how I thought they were burn units, but it's more than that.
yeah, there's 22 hospitals, and I believe there's only 3 that are specialized in burns. And they've done some great things with burns in our hospitals, so we're well known for that. And we're probably well known for that in New England because we have the Boston Burn Center, which is our major burn center. And they have developed such things there as artificial skin to cover, you know, where you can't get enough skin off a body to graft. They have artificial skin to cover burns. And they do a tremendous amount of research.
Have you visited some of the
Yeah,
hospitals?
and it's, I don't do well there because I get all choked up. But they treat the whole child. They don't just
So this is for
treat
children?
the burn. Yeah, strictly children up to age 18.
Right.
And they have on occasion treated a child after age 18 if, for example, they've been in our care for many years and they have a prosthetic that needs adjustment. They may go beyond the 18 years in a situation like that.
Right.
Or if a child 16 years old gets severely burned and still needs care beyond age 18, they probably would continue to do that as well. But the
Now,
they treat spinal cord injuries. They treat cleft lip and palate. There's a whole litany of, and anybody can refer a child to our hospital. You do not have to be a Shriner
whether they
or
can
a
pay or
Mason
not, you don't.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We take care of a patient regardless of their ability to pay.
I saw that that the hospitals for children have provided life-saving and life-changing medical care to more than 800,000 children, regardless of their ability to pay. That must make you so proud as a
does.
Shriner, right?
I actually got to refer one child I saw over in the Portsmouth area, a little boy on the floor in a store, and he had a cast on his leg, and his hands were bent right back against his wrist. He couldn't really use his hands at all. And I asked the person who owned the store whose child that was, and it turns out it was her nephew. And he had been treated, the reason his foot was in a cast, his feet were not functioning, so they had broken one of his ankles trying to straighten the foot. At any rate, right then and there I called the Shrine Hospital. We were able to get him connected with a Shrine doctor. The Shrine doctor got in connection with the person who was treating him presently. They determined that we could help him. They got him into our system. Best of my knowledge, he's still being treated. And you can't find out a lot because of the HIPAA laws, so I have no right to ask
I understand.
how he's doing.
Sure.
But I had friends in the hospital who, probably in violation of the HIPAA laws, told me a few things along the way. They did have to amputate both of his feet and fit him with prosthesis, but he's walking normally, and they have started operations on his hands, and he will ultimately be able to have full use of his hands. Many, many operations, because they have to keep, I guess, lengthening tendons or whatever it is they do.
So that's your personal experience
Yeah.
with being able to help one child.
One child.
That's amazing, right? If you're just tuning in, this is also a podcast, so I want to remind people, if they're tuning in, that this is Community Conversations. I'm Doris Ballard, your host, and it is produced by Concord Community TV, or Concord TV, and my guest here is Ted Dooley. He is a past potentate with the Bektash Shriners. And now, how long have you been a Shriner? Now, you were a Mason before you were a
Yes,
Shriner,
yeah.
because that's the way it works.
Yeah.
And how do you get to be a potentate or a
Well, potentate
that's like
is
one of the
actually just the president of the organization. And we have what we call a divan, which is more or less a board of directors. So you are appointed to the divan by a potentate, and then I think you're appointed to the first two stations, and after that you have to be elected every year until you're finally elected as potentate.
So what attracted you to becoming a Mason to start with? Because I know that you're always recruiting younger people, and it's men, correct?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Well,
my dad was a Mason.
and that's pretty
so we just
common,
kinda-
right?
Yeah,
Where
and my son is a Mason, so we just kind of
it's
grows that way, I
tradition,
guess, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and also that must be a wonderful thinking about that your son and your family members, your father, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives you something to talk about, if nothing at all, right? You have something in common,
yeah.
right? And for the common good. But you have fun too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a social.
Well, we keep talking about this Feztival of Trees, and we put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, but we have a lot of fun.
Oh, and we're going to talk about that
A lot
when
of
it's
fun
coming,
doing it.
folks. So
Yeah.
you're going to want to put the dates right now, November 20th through 29th at the Bektash Shriner on Pembroke Road, and I have the dates for you and the times. All the information, we'll try to have it on at the end of the program. But you can go to yourconcordtv.org. We hope to have that up by the time you're able to see it. All right. So, how many years have you been a Shriner, Ted?
I don't know exactly. I guess 25 or more.
25.
And I joined some 25 or maybe 30 years ago, and I was just not active. I joined, and for whatever reason, I never really did anything with it. And one Saturday I was sitting at home and I picked up, they sent out a monthly publication and I was reading it. And they had a party at the Margate in Laconia. Well, I said to my wife, gee, this looks like fun, and it's, you know, they had a whole litany of things they were going to do. They did a train ride to nowhere, and they did a boat cruise. And I said, this looks like a lot of fun. She said, well, we don't know anybody. I said, well, how bad could they be? We know they're all Masons. They got to be decent people. If we don't like them, we just won't associate with them. So we went and we had a ball. And
that was it.
We were hooked, yeah.
Right, that's great. And I mean, because it's a male organization, your partner, your wife,
absolutely, yeah.
They're very involved in.
We couldn't function without the ladies, that's a fact.
Oh, well,
I always kid my wife as I was going up the line to become potentate is that, you know, somebody had to do all the work and somebody had to take all the credit. So my job was to stand up, smile at the people, take the credit, and let her do most of the work, which she does to this very day.
I'm glad you're being honest about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
that festival would go nowhere without her.
Oh, well, I'm sure that you all play a part in it.
Yeah.
All right. Fundraising. You do fundraising for the Shriners, of course,
Yes.
and which, by the way, it's not only in Concord that you have the Shriners meet. This Canada, right?
Oh, yes.
So it's
absolutely.
all over.
Yeah.
And is it regional right here?
Well, we have what they call a Northeast region, yes.
So you have
And
Massachusetts,
that's Canada, Mass, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and the Maritime Provinces of Canada. And so we, as potentate, and when you're on the diving, do a lot of traveling around to the different shrine temples, and again, party with the people, but work together to find ways to support the hospital and the fraternity.
Sure.
Something I should point out that's very important. The Feztival of Trees is a fundraiser for the Bektash, New Hampshire Shriners.
Okay.
That money does not go to the shrine hospitals.
And it stays in.
It stays in New Hampshire. And that's important because the Shriners have two corporations, the Hospital Corporation, which is our charitable corporation, and we're a fraternal corporation. And we have to keep the two separate. You know, when we fundraise and we say we're raising money for the hospital, every nickel of that money raised has to go to the hospitals. So this is supporting the fraternal organization.
Right. Well, this is the 15th year that you've held this Feztival of Trees, which is, that's what you're wearing on your head.
This is
beautiful
called a Fez.
right?
So they were looking for a name for the event, and I came up with the idea of Feztival instead of
That
festival.
was your idea?
Yeah.
Very creative.
I won a prize.
You
A
did.
birdhouse.
Another reason for you to become a Mason and then a Shriner, right? Okay, so you work with your wife very closely on this Festival of Trees. I attended one of the committee meetings for past 2 meetings that you had. What a great group of people, husbands of Shriners and their wives.
Yeah.
And this is the 15th year that you've had this amazing Festival of Trees. Let's talk a little bit about why you started this, and then we'll go into what it's all about.
Well, it started primarily because we used to run a circus in Manchester. And a circus is a child-oriented event, obviously. And I canceled the circus because when I became potentate, we were spending over $80,000 a year up front to fund the circus, hiring the acts, renting the space, paying the police and fire and what have you, and we made $15,000. And I said, you just can't do that. If, God forbid, we had a snowstorm that weekend, we'd lose money. Right. So I canceled the circus and then felt that I had to do something to make up for it. And the town of Methuen, which is where I am from in Massachusetts, had a Festival of Trees going very, very successfully, and they're using our lodge building, our Masonic lodge building. So that's where I got the idea. And I took a few of the guys down from the temple here and let them see that event. And the people who saw it thought, wow, this is great, we can do this. But when we come back to sell it to the rest of the group, you can just imagine talking to some guy and saying, I'm going to get people to donate Christmas trees, and I'm going to set them up in the hall, and we're going to charge people to come see them, and then we're going to raffle them off, and we're going to make a lot of money. They looked at us like we were cuckoo. Sometimes I think maybe they were right. But the first few years were really a struggle because, again, when you went out in the community and tried to sell the idea, nobody had heard of the concept, had no idea what it was all about. But now it's 100% easier because almost everybody in the greater
very
Concord has
popular.
heard about
Very
it.
popular.
If they haven't seen it, they've at least heard about it, and so that helps a lot.
This is your 15th year doing it, so that's a big year for you.
Yeah.
And again, it's being held at 189 Pembroke Road in Concord at the Bektash Shrine. Is it the Shrine Temple? Is that what it's called?
They've been called temples.
Yeah, but it's
now
not a
they're
real
kinda,
temple, right?
Yeah, it's not a temple.
Okay,
so I think
you
they're
rent the
more
space out as
calling
well.
them shrine centers now. Or
Okay. All right, so November 20th through 29th, and this is, I'm Doris Ballard. This is Community Conversations, a production of Concord TV. And my guest is Ted Dooley. He is a past potentate of the Bektash Shriners, and their big event, the Feztival of Trees, is being held. When you walk into this room, I have to try to set, I'm not a very good storyteller, but I'm going to try. You walk in, and all you see are trees all lit up. Every tree has a different theme. There's a tool tree. There's, I mean, that one must be one of the most popular.
Yeah, that's very, very popular.
And in front of every tree, think of a penny sale. I'm thinking of the old-time penny sales.
That's just what those tickets are. They're penny sale tickets. Yep.
So you come in, and you buy as many as you want of tickets, and then I gave them to my grandchildren, and they went nuts. And so they take these little tickets, and they put them in front of the trees they may want to win. Right?
Exactly. Yep.
And this runs all week long, the week of Thanksgiving. It's closed on Thanksgiving Day.
Closing Thanksgiving Day, yep.
But then what a treat for families. This is a real family event because there's a silent auction.
Yes.
There's something for everyone. There's a little gift shop.
Gift shop. There's a
refreshments.
A cafe.
The cafe is delicious.
We had a fellow last year came to our place for lunch every day of the week.
It's delicious.
Right. Somebody commented, we've seen here every best lunch in town.
The Candy
and apparently
Cane
worked
Cafe,
right in the area.
right.
And he just walked over
I think it's great.
and had lunch.
And then Santa, of course, is there.
Santa's there.
And they have little gifts for the kids.
Yeah,
so.
and we have a scavenger hunt for the kids. We've had a lot of fun with that.
That's great.
One year a child came up and he had all the things that were on the scavenger hunt. He took them off the trees. He thought he had to bring them to the desk.
Oh, that's funny.
We had to go back and put them all back.
Oh, no. All right, so you have wreaths too. So
yes.
The businesses or the organizations or whoever, individuals, they buy a tree or a wreath or whatever, and they decorate it.
Exactly.
And they pick a theme,
Yep.
all right? And you have contests too. Tell us a little bit about the contests.
Yeah, we have judging, and you're going to be one of the judges.
I'm very pleased that I'm going to be one of the judges.
Yes.
I'm honored, thank you. I did it last year. It was great fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of work though, isn't it?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. I mean,
I've
we had
never done it
over
because-
100 items and trees
Yeah,
and
yeah.
mini trees, tall trees,
Yeah.
wreaths. All right.
And years ago, they developed a very nice, fair system of judging. I think you had
It was
did last year.
extremely fair.
You have a list of all the trees, and I think there's 3 categories. There's most beautiful tree, the most original tree, and what the heck is the other one? Most beautiful. My wife is going to shoot me. Well, whatever.
Right.
And so each judge has a list of all the trees, and you have to rank them. What was it, 1 to 10 or 1 to 5?
Well, now you're going to kill me because I don't
yeah.
remember.
Well,
All
at
right.
any rate,
wasn't
you
it
have
like most
numerical
unique
number.
tree or most unique theme,
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I won a prize last year for the most original.
Well, yours was
Because it wasn't really a tree. It was a
all
display.
stuffed animals shaped
All
like
stuffed animals
like a
shaped
tree.
like a tree. I had
Yeah.
large teddy bears, and the kids went wild for that.
So on the last day, what happens is the Sunday, I believe, right? You
Yes.
close down
Yep.
at a certain time.
Closed down at 4 o'clock.
And then
and-
you draw the winning tickets.
The winning tickets, right?
And then you start calling. And I can just imagine if the people that went were like my family
Yeah.
with the grandchildren waiting by the phone
It's
at 6 o'clock or so.
many of them wait in the hall. I wish they wouldn't do that. Because
Well, don't wait in the hall,
it
right?
makes so much more
know.
difficult for us to get around and get the job done. But I understand they're interested. But
Yeah.
it takes a long time. We
Sure.
have over 100 of these tubes full of tickets that all have to be emptied into buckets. And then out of each bucket, we have to pull 3 tickets. So that if we call the first person and they don't answer, we call the second person.
So
and
they
on.
have to be there to
Right.
answer
When
the
you
phone.
buy a ticket, you're told that
Okay.
we need to have a phone number. We can reach you on Sunday afternoon. And if you don't answer the phone, we cannot leave a message because we have to get that tree out of our hall because we have functions going on.
So everything's got to get out of there.
That is one reason to hang around on Sunday. You never saw anything in your life like 200 trees fully decorated leaving a hall in about 3 hours. Absolute bedlam. It's hilarious.
So what for you is the most fun or exciting part of this whole Festival of Trees event?
I think just watching the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They
Their
get-
eyes
oh,
light
they-
up.
Yeah. And you see them do some silly stuff. It's funny. Really. I walk around the hall and just watch the kids. They're best entertainment you could have.
So there's some for the girls, some for the boys. I mean, you had
Oh, yeah.
a motorized
And the adults, the
car and the
tool
adult
tree,
tool. Oh, the tool
yeah,
tree,
yeah.
please. My husband was just stuffing them all in there.
Yeah.
And then there's, tell us about the scratch ticket tree. That's a separate raffle,
Yeah,
right?
that was started in memory of one of our members
Mm-hmm.
by a couple of hairdressers in Milford, New Hampshire, and they get people to donate unscratched tickets. Please don't donate scratched ones. It doesn't work as well.
Can
But
they give the tickets that have been scratched that are winners? No, that might be good,
that,
right?
that we would accept.
Right.
As of our meeting last night, I understand we have well over $1,000 worth of tickets
Wow.
to be put on this tree, and they hang the tickets all over the tree, and that's a separate raffle, and you come in, you buy a raffle ticket, and you win that whole tree full of tickets. So who knows what you might win.
So you've got the businesses that are involved. You've got the community. I mean, you must draw people from beyond Concord.
Oh, we draw people from Vermont. Seriously.
Wow.
We've got a
They
lot
look
of people
forward
come
to
from
this.
Massachusetts
Yeah.
because they're familiar with the one down there, and they come up to see this one as well. We put an ad in their program book. They put an ad in our program book. So probably some people from here go down and see theirs as well. I don't know. But it gives the business a chance to advertise their business, too. We get 6,000, 7,000 people through this event during that week. And if your
7,000.
name is on that tree the whole week so people see who donated it.
Right. I've got to say the managing of the way it flows from tree to tree and
Yeah.
the way you have it. I mean, when I judged them, I was just amazed at the creativity that went into most of these trees.
That's my wife.
Right.
She lays out the trees.
And that's clever because if you have 7,000 people in the course of, what, 5
Yeah.
days or so, 6
Yeah, we used to
days.
have them kind of lined up in a straight line, and we had little fencing between them, but
Right.
it just looked too sterile, and it just didn't flow well. And so we changed it. I think it's much prettier and much easier to get around for the people. You know, they're not all cluttered in one spot.
Is
It
the
works
Festival
well.
of Trees your main fundraiser during
It's
the
our
year?
largest fundraiser
Your
now.
largest.
Bingo was our largest. I think the festival surpassed bingo last year or the year before.
And your
Bingo
bingos
is still a
are
big-
Thursday nights.
Yes, Thursday
right.
night bingo is still a very big and
So folks,
important
if
event.
you want to know another place to go to
Yeah.
bingo, you can go
And
to
many
that.
of our bingo players love to come to the festival.
So it just works hand in hand,
Yeah.
right? So 189 Pembroke Road is November 20th through 29th. The Bektash Shriners Feztival of Trees, and your logo
the
has
fez.
the fez on top of the tree. And if you really, want to have a fabulous time, holiday special event for the entire family. Seniors love it, right?
yes,
Senior
yeah,
citizens, you have
yeah.
good
We have
rates.
Monday and Tuesday, I believe, we bring buses in from
Mm-hmm.
senior centers, and we let them in for free, and they just love going through. And it's quiet time, so they can get around in wheelchairs and walkers without,
Right.
the crushing crowds, and they really enjoy it.
So what have you learned in producing this event over the years? Have you learned anything about who you are and how how this event can connect you more to the community, or
Well, I think it's helped us to connect with the community better, because I think the community now is giving us more and more support, because I think they see what it's doing, and it is a positive thing for them and for us. And that's what we're supposed to be all about.
That's great. And of course, it's helping to brand your organization. You have information that you give to everyone who attends that talks a little bit about what you do.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And but it's
Always looking for members.
so. All right, let's make a pitch for that. Let's talk a little bit about if anyone wants to find out more about how to become a Mason or a Shriner, can they go to your website, which is bektashshriners.org.
Yep, absolutely. Just to be a Mason, ask a Mason. Really just that simple.
You work hard, but you play hard.
Yeah.
Right. I like that aspect, that it's a social bonding experience, I think, among people of your ilk who like to do good in your communities.
Yeah, it gives you a good warm fuzzy feeling you're doing
Yeah.
something constructive,
Great.
but you can have fun doing it.
And you can get a beautiful fez if you know, how many boards have I been on where I was president and never got anything
got a
like
fez.
that? I mean, really.
Trust
So,
me, you don't want one.
no, I don't.
You
I
wear
don't.
these things in a hot parade. It's a wool hat that weighs probably 10 pounds. The person who designed it did not have parading in the summer in mind.
I'll bet.
I don't know what they were thinking, but it is
Wow.
an eye catcher, and it is our trademark, so we wear it.
If you would look in the camera, Ted Dooley, past potentate of the Bektash Shriners, give you just a couple minutes to just look at the camera and talk to the people. What would you say?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for the past support they've given us, and hopefully they'll do it again this year. And I also want to mention that Concord Television is going to do an Easter basket event very similar to our Festival of Trees. And what's the date of that?
That is March 18th, 19th, and 20th, and we're going to have a wide array of Easter baskets and floral arrangements and stuffed animals and jewelry and you name it. And thanks to the Bektash Shriners for supporting us as a nonprofit. Hopefully this will be a good fundraiser for our organization as well.
The only
Thank you.
drawback at that event, in my mind, is we didn't think of it first.
Well,
think it's
we
gonna be a
did, and I
huge
think it's
success.
a great partnership. So again, I think let's give you the dates again, November 20th and 29th, and it is happening at 189 Pembroke Road at the Bektash Temple or Bektash
Shrine Center.
Shrine Center. And bring the whole family, all ages. You'll have a blast. It's a Festival of Trees. It's a lot more than just a Festival of Trees.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a festival of fun. Let's just
Yes,
put
it
it
is.
that way. And I want to thank you, Ted Dooley, past potentate of the Bektash Shriners, for being on Community Conversations.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
And if you want to be on this program, please contact Doris Ballard or our wonderful my wonderful co-producer, Josh Hardy, at yourconcordtv.org, and our websites, our emails are there, 603-226-8872. And you can watch this on demand on our website, yourconcordtv.org, or on Channel 22. And you can also listen to it on our podcast. You can get all that information, again, on yourconcordtv.org. And BektashShriners.org is where you want to go to right now so that you can go to this. Make it 8,000 people going to the Festival of Trees this year. And I will see you there. And if you're a business, decorate a tree. There's still time, right?
Yes, there is.
Still time. Get one in there, and it's a lot of fun, and you'll get a lot of
Short
great...
of time, decorate a wreath.
There you go.
Quicker and easier.
Or a mini tree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for watching and listening or listening to Concord TV's Community Conversations. I'm Doris Ballard, your host, saying goodbye and talk to you again soon.